it or
right?
something. Then yeah.
Yeah.
Sean, it's good to see you, man. It's good to have your conversation. How are you doing?
Doing well. We've just been super busy here. We've got a lot going on in Vegas.
Yeah, it sounds like it, man. I can't wait to hear all about it and get right into that. With the time that we have, it's not a whole lot, so I want to get down to the most important things, the big pieces. So, talk to me about, of course, the band Crash Midnight. Where does it start for you? You guys are a Vegas-based band. I assume you're in Vegas right now. Is that where
We are, yeah.
where you've always been? Yeah.
No, we actually we started back in Boston in like the mid 2000s, and we went through a whole cycle over there. We got signed to Universal under the Fontana label, did like a couple North American tours, and then that label just kind of went under. There was a lot of stuff going on with the label at that time. It was during the EMI merger, and so
Yeah.
Universal was selling off stuff like Crazy Eddie's discount, car salesman or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
No, we ended up, yeah, we were on the road, and we had like radio support on the road and PR support, but no album because they were pointing fingers back at each other on who was responsible for printing the album. It was a mess.
Yeah,
So we
that
got,
sucks.
but the good part that came out of that is we went on tour. One of the bands we went on tour with is named Adelita's Way. We became good friends with them, and they were based out in Vegas. And we had an opportunity to move out here. And talking with them, the lead singer Rick is originally from Philadelphia, and we're up in the Northeast too at that point, and he's just like, man, get the hell out of there, like you can't shovel sunshine, so move out west
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Vegas. And
yeah,
we moved out here 2014, which is like right after the worst winter on record in Boston that even beat that blizzard of '78. So we were done with the snow,
yeah.
and kind of never looked back. We went independent when we went out here, and it's been like the best decision we've ever made.
Was the band called Crash Midnight back when you were in Boston, or was it something else?
Yeah, yeah, it was Crash Midnight from the start. It
Where did
was
that?
we
Sorry, go ahead.
oh, it's gone through a bunch of different cycles. Like I've read a lot of guys that talk about the music industry talk about like the cogs in a wheel, where like you start off on the bottom one, you jump to the middle one, and if you
Yeah,
really get
yeah,
super famous, you get to the top.
yeah.
But we were on that bottom one for a while and jumped to the middle, and they got ground back up. And I think that's in like a Motley Crue book or something. But it's anyway, it was something we experienced at a number of times, and now we're finally in a place where we don't have to answer to anybody because we own everything and we can pay for everything. We've got all that. Not that we're totally against the label, but right now we're doing really well with that one.
Well, that's the good thing about it too, is that you don't have to be beholden to a label. You don't have to do what they say on their schedule, do it their way, change
Absolutely.
your sound, your style, which it's good and bad. At least you have that support, that financial backing helps, but at the same time, you have that creative freedom and the ability to take opportunities that you feel is best for, or the band feels is best for them, right? So it's good, like anything, it's good and bad having a label behind you versus doing it on your own.
Yeah, what we found with labels was even with the best of intentions, at least our experience was that there was just so much red tape for anything to happen, for a check to get cut, and
Right.
we were on. I think we were playing House of Blues in New Orleans, and we were waiting for the next subsidy check to come through or land in the account. I guess it wasn't a hard check at the time, but and everybody's pointing fingers at each other. We're like, guys, we need gas and hotel money like right now, and it was
Yeah.
that kind of thing. We just never wanted to be waiting on a check from daddy ever again. So we
Yeah. That's a good
kind
way
of
to
took
put it. Yeah.
matters into our own hands there.
That's a great way to put it.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So when you came out to Vegas in 2014, were you just starting to play shows? Did you have some songs already written, or what was the beginning part when you got to Vegas?
Well, when we came out here, it was right after we had released our debut album with Universal. So we had a 12 to 14 song catalog. Pretty much right when we landed here, we ended up doing another single with the producer Steve Thompson, who he engineered like Appetite for Destruction
Yeah.
and Lies, and what else he did, all the Tesla stuff, Blues
Yeah.
Traveler. The list goes on and on. Metallica's Justice for All. So we did our song Roxy with him. And that was a cool experience. We got to do a lot of fun things, and we instantly got introduced to a lot of the industry out here, which is very different from Boston, because Boston is it's a small town, and I think at points there had been more things going on in the music scene out there, but when we were coming up in there, it had dried out. Like it was not. There was a lot of things going on with like the college market there, where the alcohol commissioners or whatever the heck they weren't letting under 21 age kids into most shows. So
Right.
it really knocked out most of your college crowd. And what we found back in Boston was like we would build up, we'd be bringing 500 people to a show by the time you got to the spring, and then half those kids would graduate and move the hell away. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you turn
Yeah.
around and have to
Exactly.
start back from scratch again, at the onset of the new school year there. So it was frustrating out there. But it taught us how to work really hard. And when we moved out here, we found that there was and people always say that this is, a tourist town, and it is to an extent, and that it's a transitional town. Nobody stays here long, but we have made some amazing friends out here. We are super connected with people in the industry, and they're all very good people too. It's not just like,
Yeah.
what you just see in Spinal Tap with people, like just kind of glad
Yeah,
handed.
yeah.
They're really, really good
Exactly.
people. We have an office at the Hideout Recording Studio where producer Kevin Churko,
Yes.
his son Kane Churko, work out of, and we actually use one of their head engineers that does a lot of like the Five Finger Death Punch and all that kind
Yep.
of stuff. And Corey Taylor, like he is our head engineer, co-producer. So we're kind of getting that level production on all of our singles, just working with our friends. And we've become, I consider them very close friends at this point.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's been really cool. So we're plugged in there, and when we were recording our debut album, like we had to take a bus 3.5 hours away to the freaking to New York City to record, like I think it was West 27th, like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Manhattan. And it was just, man, it was tough. We did that for months, going back and forth. Here, I don't even have to get on the highway. It's like a 7-minute drive to get to the studio. It's
Yeah,
not
there's
like
no pay toll bridges. There's no tunnels to go through. Not a
it's
big traffic mess
incredible.
to go through. I'm sure there's traffic. There's traffic everywhere, especially in Vegas as well. Too busy city, but it's not like going from like New York to something like Philadelphia or New Jersey or somewhere like that across the bridges and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
nothing's like
Can't
how it is
imagine.
back east in the Northeast.
Yeah,
Like, but
it's
but this
busy.
is cool because it's allowed us to record in a similar way, I think, to what people did in like the 70s or the 80s, where they would be locked out for like a year or 6 months, and they just chip away at songs. It's what's a big challenge I think for bands right now is that they have to record an album in like a week or a weekend sometimes,
Yeah,
and it's tough. But because of the relationship we have and the proximity to the studio, we're working on a new single right now called Dead Aces. And, we're chipping away at it. Like there was some stuff that we wanted to change the melody of like vocals a little bit. There was some stuff that I wanted to change around on the solo that our guitarist was doing. And it allows us that ability to sit back, digest it, and then go, oh, okay, let's go back into like we record it in 2 weeks or a year. Like we had a
yeah.
song Blackout that the Golden Knights, the NHL hockey team out here used.
Hmm.
We must have had that thing on the board for about a year and a half. At the beginning, we had
Wow.
a big air raid siren at the beginning of it. It was cool. And then we tried to do that on guitar, and that sounded cool. Then we just decided that it was too much at the beginning, and all these things that when you have the ability to record over a longer period of time like that, you can really, test
Yeah,
it out, sit on it,
feel it out. Yeah,
marinate. Yeah.
yeah.
So that's
Exactly.
been awesome for our production.
Do you guys get all four of you in the studio at one time and just bang it out right there? Do you guys come in at different times, different schedules with different pieces? How does it work, the recording process for your band?
So we've kind of streamlined that now. The drums, we give the drums to our to our engineer Tristan, and he actually programs them off of the drums that we have. But we had been trying to do live drums. Like I'd been a very like purist, and so had our co-founder Alex with me, our guitarist. We definitely we only want real drums. We only want real drums. And then the more we recorded them, the more samples people are throwing on in modern drums, and the more we're just like, man, we spent all this money recording these drums. It's like, a 2-3 hour setup for these drums. And then you're just throwing samples all over them anyway.
Yeah,
And it was just becoming such a, are you even getting anything out of it? Like there was our
yeah,
debut album, the first time we recorded, they recorded all the drums to tape. By the time everything went through, all the digital stuff, it was like, what the hell was the point of that?
yeah. It's like something
So
totally different after that. It doesn't even sound the same as what you did when you had just the
yeah,
original. Yeah,
exactly. So
yeah,
we're not completely satisfied with the electronic shop, but they're getting a lot better, and it's certainly for the ability to churn quick stuff out and to edit stuff on the fly to record the way we want to, where we can change stuff around 6 months after, and that stuff having the digital drums there able to do that, and it will still like. If there's something that's not sounding right, we'll play that live part. Like we've had cymbals not sounding quite right during like a disco beat, so we had to
yeah,
like track that live over to get the right thing. But I mean, for the most part, it's produced a better product faster and allowed us a better ability to write around the product and go back and change stuff and not have to reinvent the wheel. So that's what we do with the drums. Then the bass and the the rhythm guitar, we actually record out of our practice space because we have a whole Kemper set up, and that's pretty much what we do anyways. We record the DI and a Kemper signal that we think we want, and then again, you have the DI, so you can always change that later if you're not liking how it layers in. And I record my vocals at the studio, and Alex generally records at very least his leads and his solos there. And sometimes he's recorded his rhythm separate, and sometimes he wants to do it in the studio. So that's pretty much our process there. But it's great because we can keep going back. Like, hey, I don't like this rhythm part. It's not hitting hard enough. It's not emphasizing. That's actually happening with Dead Aces. Is the accents weren't as strong as they needed to be on guitar. So we just we record that at the studio after practice and send it back over to our guy. And it's a great process.
That's good to hear. Does Kevin, do you find him really pushing you guys to do better, try it again, to go further? Do you find he's really like, or is he let you kind of do your thing? How is he as a producer?
He doesn't produce us. He doesn't produce us. He just owns the studio.
Oh, okay. He's not producing.
We get to see him a lot.
But the studio, I got you.
Yeah, I mean,
he's so busy too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin has some really big projects. Kevin is quite expensive as a producer, you know, and he deserves it. I mean, he's had a lot of hits, but he's honestly been really good. Like everything from like, because he's a big hockey guy, like everything from the sounding board from hockey to like, you know, when we're trying to find a sound or something, or you know, he's just a really down to earth, great guy. I like him a lot. We were Alex and I were recording some reels for social media, and we're having trouble getting the board, I think, to work. And Kevin comes in this like safari hat. He'd been up on the roof trying to fix like the filters on the AC or something because their handyman had left town or whatever. He's that kind of guy. He's a really, really good guy. And we've talked about, you know, doing some work together at some point, but it just hasn't quite, you know, it hasn't been right for that. And we're pretty happy with what we're doing right now. So.
Well, hopefully it does. He's got a good pedigree too. Like we worked under Mutt Lange, and you know, he produced good records he's produced. That's legendary too. So he's got a good pedigree. So if you ever get the chance, that would be cool. But you're doing good with what you have now too, not to say otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, what's honestly been pretty cool is with Kevin working under Mutt Lange, our guitarist Alex has done a lot of session work for Kevin. He's actually doing it right now this week. So he's gotten to be, you know, immediately involved in a lot of those sessions. And that's where it's a family run studio. So it's Kevin and Kane, and then their daughter Chloe used to be the studio manager, and she's moved on now. She's doing her own Pick Noise Entertainment, I believe is the title of it, that she's doing you know, business, running, doing taxes and stuff for people in the industry. And we have Zoe is now running the studio, but it was a family studio, so everybody knew each other. We worked all our deals together, all that. And you know, Kevin's taught Alex a lot of stuff that I had already heard, you know, secondhand from watching documentaries on how Mutt Lange recorded things. But he's like, it's very, sometimes it's just string at a time to record a power chord. Sometimes it's, you know, just attention to detail. And we've been able to bring that a lot to the stuff we're doing. Plus the engineer, or one of the main engineers that Kevin uses to do a lot of the work for him, does all of our stuff. So we kind of have a lot of that pedigree coming in, you know, or at least a lot of that know-how coming in.
Yeah, well, I definitely noticed that in the production for the songs. Like, so going back for me, the first time I ever heard Crash Midnight was the song Killing Time, Nothing to Lose. That's the first time I ever heard of your band. It came on my radar. But when did that, when were those songs recorded? They're not new either, as far as that goes. That's been a couple of years now, I think, or just after the pandemic. Help me with my timeline a bit.
Yeah, God, you're going to have to. So both of those songs actually have a long history. We had a song called Nothing to Lose. It's probably one of the third songs we ever wrote as a band. So we're talking like 2006, 2007.
Okay. Wow.
And we got approached by we kind of shelved it for a while because we just thought at the time I didn't love the song, and I didn't love the title. But anyway, the Patriots approached us. The New England Patriots approached us asking, you know, if we wanted to do a song, and I ended up getting to do like the national anthem in front of you know, their fans for I think it was the Patriots Browns game.
Nice.
And it was cool. We had a bunch of people that were in the staff there, and we kind of salvaged the song that was Nothing to Lose and changed it to a song called Welcome to Boston that was just kind of about, you know, the gritty street scene that is, you know, with Boston, they'd spit on you as soon as looked at you half the time when you're walking down the street. So it was kind of, you know, about that. And it worked really well. The Bruins ended up using it. Boston College ended up using it. Trying to think, there were a couple other teams. I can't remember, maybe Northeastern or something. They ended up using it for a while, and the Patriots, they used it through at least 2 Super Bowl runs, maybe more. They used it for like 7 years or something.
Nice.
So that was really cool, and that's where the original Nothing to Lose happened. And then I just kind of had the title. For some reason, I decided I liked it again, and that I had another song that I was working on, and it just sort of fit. And so we wrapped that one up. I think we wrote that about 2.5, 3 years ago, and then finally got around to releasing it. I think it was the one that we released after Blackout, maybe. it's tough. It all blurs together. The pandemic, like, really, I don't know about you.
Yeah, that messed
really
everything
screws
up
up my
too.
sense of timing.
And you only get singles too. They can only get songs handed out. Like there's things that get released on, like I've seen online. I think I don't know if I spoke to you, but somebody from the band on Twitter originally where I got that from, and the songs were sent to me. So it's like piece by piece. So it's hard to figure out where things came. Another Day in Hell, which that video, which is an amazing video by the way. I want to talk to you about that too. But all these songs coming together, I wasn't sure if it was on an actual album or if you're just doing singles. Where that came in.
Yeah, well, so Killing Time, just another quick story with that one, is our label at the time had the opportunity, or was trying to sell us on the opportunity to do a collaboration with either Lil Wayne, The Game, or who's it, Snoop Dogg.
Wow.
And it's not as sexy as it sounds. Like basically these guys would go in their bathroom and like spit out something for 30 seconds, and then you get the honor of like incorporating into your song, like basically them jump on it,
just do a quick little sample and then you stick it in there. You piece it in there.
I'm personally not a big hip hop guy. I liked NWA and that stuff, but then I felt like hip hop kind of took the turn of like 80s hair metal, where it was just all about like girls and
in the late 90s 2000s. I followed it too. You're right, it just went it's not the same. You got it.
So I wasn't really, and then plus the stuff that we got was like, it was like the Games thing was something about his Desert Eagle, which was, I guess, I don't know, less lame than the Snoop Dogg's was about him coaching his son's Pop Warner team. So that was just like, I don't know what to do with that. And then Lil Wayne's one was completely nonsensical, but I had an idea where I was like, listen, instead of us throwing him in for 30 seconds, what if I do this like a Mad Libs thing, and I just find words that he said and try to change it into like something where he's jumping in and out of the song like Aerosmith and Run DMC did. So it was a really interesting songwriting exercise, because I had a bank of words that I had to fit into a song, and I had to construct the song that way. And it was called Take It. And it was interesting. We never ended up releasing it because then he got arrested, and then I think Cash Money wanted way more once he was in jail than
the label.
The label's like, screw it. And then I was like, yeah, that's probably a good idea anyway. So we sat on it, but I really liked the riff, and I thought it had a lot of potential. And then when we moved out here, there was some stuff that I'd gone through, like, several years prior. And then we also dealt with like a kind of deadbeat label from the UK that was like pretending to spend money and doing all this stuff. And it's actually funny. The allegedly the owner put out a fake sex tape, which was kind of hilarious. So all of that kind of stuff combined, like, rolled into the, I guess, the vitriol that is coming out of Killing Time. And we ended up, I wrote all new lyrics, all new melody over this song that was Take It. And we changed a couple things around, but that's basically what it was. And that's become one of our biggest songs.
It's great.
Spotify, it's on Spotify radio all the time, which is really cool. So it's funny, like, how a song like that can just
I can't imagine the way you're describing it, how it used to be. I can't imagine it being the same thing, and what it is now is perfect. It's perfect the way it is. So I can't imagine the way it was before. So it worked out, I would say. I'm really happy with that one. So that's one of our favorites. What's the latest single? I know there was Suicide Tattoo was the most recent song I think I've seen. I don't think there's a video for it though. What's the last video that you guys shot?
So we haven't done the guy that shot the Another Day in Hell video. That was the last video that we did. His name's Barton Anderson, another really good friend of ours from out here. He did a lot of photography for us.
Great video.
I mean, he's awesome. He helped me. Like, I'm restoring a 1978 Trans Am. And Barton is like a jack of all trades. The guy can, run electricity, he can fix cars, he can freaking, shoot a music video. So he's funny. I mean, he's like a skydiving instructor, I think, at one point. Like, he's just an interesting person. There's a lot of those guys out here. But he shot that video, and it was on a blistering hot day in the middle of the summer. That's what I wanted to ask you.
That's how it looked. It looked friggin' hot out there. God, it looked like you were even pouring water on yourself at one point. I'm sure that was real, not just for effect, but
we had. Well, that was my shampoo.
You're gonna die out there.
Shot.
Yeah.
No, so that we had like 2 cars running with full AC, so you would do your shot. Like, we tried to not have everybody out at the same time if we could, so everybody could be sitting in an AC car, jump out for 10 minutes, jump back in. Like, it was pretty brutal. And it was I always butcher his last name, but Derek Stonebarger, who owns Rebar down on Main Street in the Arts District here not in Boston, in Las Vegas. He gave us full run of the place. It actually doesn't exist anymore, but it was called the Funk Yard. And at one point they were kind of doing semi-legal concerts out there. It's like tractor trailer trucks and like set up a stage in front of one of those. And it
Yeah.
was an interesting thing that you can only do when there's not a lot of oversight going on,
Right.
which there wasn't for a while.
Right.
But now they've kind of turned that. It almost looks like college town now down there in a good way, because our rehearsal space is right there. It's like a block away. So we go and hit all the bars after we rehearse and stuff. And there's a bunch of breweries down there. But yeah, he gave us the run of the place back there. And we got to do a full day video shoot. He let us like spray paint the cars. Like, he didn't give a shit.
Yeah, that was a big part of the video too, was the spray painting from the start.
Yeah.
And my favorite part is the no alcohol behind this point, and you're pointing to the sign. Just that cute, cute little things the little subtleties are very cool about the video. And of course, the song is amazing too. But it's a great video.
Yeah. We got some really good B-roll from that. And what we're actually looking to do, now that you mention it, is I don't even think I've told Barton this yet, but I think we're going to. He's got a really cool soundstage that he just built, and he's been on us to get up there and check it out and like demo some stuff up there. So I think we might this spring go up and shoot and not to put it in an 80s context, but like, there were a lot of those music videos where they probably shot like 3 or 4 at the same soundstage, and then they just kind of threw
the performance videos. Yeah, AC/DC did a lot of those too back in the mid 80s.
Yeah,
All for One album, it was the same. It was the same stage for each song.
Same stage, right?
Yeah, fly on the wall. Yeah.
I mean, that's what we really think is our biggest, asset is our live show, because we've always prided ourselves on not being like the shoegazers and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We go out and we play and we really enjoy it and all that and get into it. So what we were thinking of doing, we can talk about this a little more in a minute, but we're setting up there's a couple different series that we're going to be doing here in Vegas, which is great. Like, it's amazing to not have to tour because everybody comes here in Vegas and set up
a destination city
series. You could tour just by playing here.
Yeah.
So we're setting those up, and I guess I'll plug it right now because our first one, it's not exactly the format that we're going to be doing in the future, but our first one features like Dee Snider from Twisted Sister is going to be doing a meet and greet and bottle signing. And it's sponsored by ROCAVAKA, which is a vodka that rocks. It's they're really cool though. They have a really cool product. It's vodka made with grapes, which I didn't really know that there was that. But I guess it's like Ciroc or something else is made with grapes, and I tasted it. You can't tell the difference. It's really good vodka. They are like super in our corner. They have like Dee's pictures on the bottle, and they're going to be doing a whole bunch of other people like on par with Dee Snider or bigger in the music industry that'll have their own limited run of bottles. And they're just really trying to get into the music side of stuff and sponsor bands and do that. So first show we're doing is Friday, January 27th at the Hard Rock out here in Las Vegas. And we got a couple other bands on the bill. There's Adam and the Metal Hawks, and then they're going to have a LVDC, which is an AC/DC tribute band out here.
Okay.
Going to be on the bill. It's just going to be like a fun rock and roll night. And so we'll be doing some cool stuff. We're going to do some poster signings and some album giveaways of our debut album, because that's the only thing we have physical.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing that. And we're going to be getting a lot of footage there that we're going to be incorporating into music videos. And then we'll kind of enhance it with the soundstage stuff that we're going to, hopefully do with Barton here in the spring. And off we go, and then grab a bunch of B-roll doing whatever. And you got yourself a video,
Yeah, it's going to be great. Oh, that's going to be amazing visual too. The video you're going to get from that event, that's going to be amazing. It's going to look good on video for sure, wherever you put it.
I always just like a
lot of content there.
Leaning on the live content stuff.
Yeah.
Live content and B-roll has always kind of been our type of music videos. And I don't know. I mean, you can get creative and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're selling music and you're selling the band. So, I don't feel like we need a lot of actors and actresses up in there.
Yeah. Do you know how long your set time will be when you play? Do you know what time you're going on for people that want to check it out? I can get that info at the end too, how people can get tickets or show up or show up at the door. But yeah, how long do you play? 7? Okay.
Yeah.
But when do you play?
5-minute set. We play at 8.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to be playing at 8 for this one.
And then Dee goes on after that and does his thing.
So Dee is not performing. Dee is doing he's kind of, I think he may end up emceeing some of it, but he's basically doing a meet and greet and a bottle sign, and he's going to be
so he's just presenting
in there to be like sort of master of ceremonies, I think. But also Gooch, Brandon Hahn from Cop 97 or God 92.3 is going to be emceeing the night as well, and he's a very good friend. Even though I messed up he never messes up the plugs for us on there, and I messed up his plug on there.
It's okay. We can cut that little piece if
there you go.
Feel like we can do
92.3
creative editing.
They're very good to us. They play us and they plug us all the time. They're awesome.
That's good to hear because getting radio play, especially in any market for a newer band with a throwback sound, is beyond difficult, right? So when you can get that, I think
Yeah,
from what I've heard, Vegas radio, rock stations radio out there, they play a lot of newer bands with that sound. They're very good with trying to push the new crop of bands with that style. I
yeah,
think, am I right about that?
they're very good. Laurie Steele runs the Homegrown show out here on Sunday nights, and
Hmm.
she always plays our stuff. She's awesome. She was the first one we met, and then we ended up. God, I can't remember. There was like some event that where we ended up meeting Brandon Gooch from Comp, and then we just really hit it off well. And we had a Crash Midnight signature drink at the Rock Bar downtown on Fremont Street called Corduroy. It was really cool. It was like this black. I don't know if you've ever had a whiskey smash. It's sort of like a
No.
whiskey mojito.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
it's really good, and they put activated charcoal in, so it was black, and they served it in this skull mug, like this skull glass mug. So you have like this black skull drink with some
Oh,
garnishes
nice.
on top of it. And it was really cool. So we had that down there, and then they actually had us do our own night, host our own night every Monday night for. I think we did it for 2 or 3 months before it was just like it was getting to be a lot. But
Was that on
Gooch and I
Fremont or somewhere
hosted that.
else?
Yeah, that was on
It
Fremont
was on
Alcohol
Fremont. Yeah, what a
Hall.
great play. What a great. I've heard it. I've never been there, but
Yeah,
it's a great place. A lot of cool people played there too. A lot of
yeah,
free
it was
shows there
cool.
too. It's a great place.
So basically, this was just a little rock bar that they let us take over, and Gooch and I would choose the playlist, and we would have all kinds of guys from all the other rock bands. We were trying to turn it into kind of like the Rainbow,
Yeah,
what that was back in the day. We had
yeah, yeah.
all the bands in town just come in, hang out. There were great drink specials. We would do, we do giveaways where like we do a drinking contest, like it was either like flip cup or something like that.
Yeah.
Where the bands would face off against each other, and then the patrons at the bar would choose which band they wanted to back,
Yeah.
and whichever band won, the people that chose them got like a free shot or whatever. And
Nice.
it
Yeah.
was fun. It was like you're at a frat party. So
Yeah, yeah. It gets
it was
everybody
cool.
involved too, and you hear some good stuff too. Good music. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good. That's yeah.
absolutely.
Lots of fun times in Vegas. So if have never been there, if you've never had a chance, go check it out. There's always something going on in Vegas, right? So it's a good place to be.
Very true. And our good friend Nathan Greats is one of the owners of both the old Sand Dollar, which is
Yep.
the really really cool old school dive bar out there, and then they just bought a great place. It's like a 350 or 400 seater, I guess, at the Plaza Hotel, where we did a series of shows, and we're
Okay.
working on doing some more shows down there with ROCAVAKA involved and all that. So that's a great place. Like if you get a chance, check that out. It's brand new. It's beautiful. Drinks are insane and such a good price for
That's
downtown.
good.
Like
Yeah.
downtown, like drinks are usually
Downtown is
pretty
happening there.
expensive.
Yeah.
This is a great spot. Free
Yeah.
parking, all that stuff. I know all the. See, I'm getting all the plugs now. Now I got
That's good. Yeah, that's fine. Plug
I know
away.
the
It's great.
talking points.
Yeah,
But
because
yeah,
by
they're good friends too.
yeah, because by the time this goes up, it'll be the Monday, this coming Monday, so people can come out on
Yep.
the 27th and check you out at the Hard Rock. Beyond that show, what do you have any? Do you have any more shows on the books that you can say right now? Do you have a tour planned out coming up
No,
in the summertime, or is there
that's what we're trying to
that you're
line up. So
working on?
basically,
Yeah.
what we're trying to do is consistent shows between the Hard Rock on the Strip and the Sand Dollar at the Plaza Hotel.
Mhm.
And the ideal thing was we were going to try to do like every other week. So like Hard Rock one week, then Sand Dollar next, then Hard Rock, and then Sand Dollar, and have that be each month. So we're still working out the logistics of that. It's kind of a lot of it is hinged on the success of this first show.
Yeah.
But we'll be down at the Sand Dollar at the Plaza, like a whole bunch. We're working on that. They just got their nightclub license, so they're just starting to do ticketed events down there. Because when we played
Okay.
the previous year, they couldn't do ticketed events. So it was all showcase. So it was all like walk-in crowd. You couldn't sell tickets or whatever.
Right,
So it was a
right.
different dynamic. And we'd actually never done that before. And we ended up playing 2 sets, which was a different thing for us. We'd never done before. It was kind of cool and kind of like a long ass show. We had a break in the middle for like 15 minutes, but it
Yeah.
was the good news for it is it forced us to work out a lot of songs that we'd been meaning to get around
I was
to.
gonna
Like,
say,
oh,
did you have the material to cover that? Did you have enough? Did you do any
we
covers?
did.
How'd you fill it out?
We did a bunch of covers that we'd always like because we had been kind of lapping ourselves. We would do a fun cover like Roadhouse Blues that we change up. We make it like up tempo, swung, like change the riff a little bit.
Nice.
It's very much like our own. But then we'd covered like Led Zeppelin's Rock and Roll like into the ground, and I was just done with it. And so
Yeah.
we had the chance to cover some cool stuff. We did House of the Rising Sun. We do Run Through the Jungle. That we spliced Run Through the Jungle. We changed the riff on that a little bit and spliced that with Fogerty's solo Old Man Down the Road.
Oh, nice.
which
Yeah.
the one that he got sued
The
for,
one that he
like
got sued
basically
for, which he, actually
for
he just got
copying
his
Run Through the
catalog back. Yeah,
Jungle.
believe it or not, he just got
Yeah,
his copyrights. He got his masters back, the rights to it now, recently
yeah.
from the label from Orchard too. So good thing you brought that up. That's yeah,
Oh
it's kind
yeah.
of funny that all came back around 30, 40 years later.
I know. Well, we
Yeah,
thought because that was the song that he got. So he got sued for Old Man Down the Road
from
sounding too much
Saul's
like Run
Ants.
Through the
Yeah,
Jungle.
yeah, from his old
And I was
manager
like,
there.
well,
Yeah, crazy. Be
yeah,
sued to plagiarize yourself. How crazy is
I
that?
know, right?
Yeah,
But I always thought Old Man
not
Down the Road
possible.
had a better
Yeah.
turnaround hook
Oh
at the
yeah.
end of the chorus than Run Through
Yes.
the Jungle did. So we
Hmm.
basically slapped the Old Man Down the Road hook at the end of the Run Through the
Watch you don't get sued for
Jungle. The
playing it.
old man's down the road. I
Yeah.
know. So it was, yeah, that was a cool one. We got to do Long Cool Woman, which nobody ever
Nice. The
covers that
Hollies.
song. I really
Yeah.
like that one.
Nice.
Do like an
A lot of
up-tempo,
classic
little.
rock too. I'm kind of surprised at that actually.
Well, so we did a lot of punk covers. We played a handful of punk shows. We actually had Cheetah Chrome from the Dead Boys joined us on
Oh
stage for
wow.
New Year's, not this year, the previous year, when we played a show with Quiet Riot downtown. And God, what did we cover? We covered Sonic Reducer, and
Nice boys.
I can't remember. No, we didn't do Nice Boys.
Ain't it
Shoot,
fun?
I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think we were thinking about doing Ain't It Fun, but it was we did a different one. I can't remember which one it was. Yeah, whatever. It was New Year's. We were, having fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we did that. We did a couple other punk shows where we did like Johnny Thunder's Born to Lose, and got Iggy Pop Search and Destroy. And I think we did a Doll song at some point there too. And I don't know, it's
That's a good
like I said,
set.
like
That's a good set.
that was all right before the
Yeah.
pandemic.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
swear to God, like 2020 just like erased so
Yeah.
much out of my brain. Like it's so, but yeah, we like to do a lot of punk covers, but I've just found out in Vegas that, if we can do the classic rock ones go over better, unless we're playing with a band that the punk stuff works, in which, you don't have to ask us twice. We'll
Yeah.
put that stuff out all day. But it's, we try to tailor our stuff to what the audience is going to be.
Yeah, no, very, very cool. I'm just looking at my clock here with the 7 minutes that I have left with you. Let me ask you about, we talk about the pandemic all the time. So during that time, for that 2 years or better, that pretty much shows were on the sideline, what did you guys do? Did you guys do anything? How did you occupy your time? What was the band doing to keep yourselves, I don't know, active?
So yeah, we were recording a whole bunch, which was good. And then we actually got approached to do a bunch of streaming shows. And so the streaming shows, I think we started to film one, and it was at Fremont Country Club downtown. And the first one was going to be unattended, but it was like the first time that they had set up the cameras. I think it was like 5 camera shoot with like one on a crane that was coming in, like all
Right.
this stuff. So it was a pretty decent production.
Like an old video,
But
yeah.
yeah, but they were still kind of working out the kinks, and it was just like a perfect storm of all this stuff. Like we were doing an acoustic set, and then we were going to do an electric set. And the acoustic set, our bass player, who was playing an acoustic guitar there because we weren't using a bass, broke 3 or 4 of his strings in succession. Like it was like,
Oh,
all right, ready, go. And he did it, and it like broke in the middle of the song. Oh, let's take
Cut.
that song again. Oh,
yeah.
boom, we did it again.
Cut.
And it was just like,
Yeah.
everyone was getting exhausted. And then there was like an
Yeah.
issue with the audio, and the audio was peaking, and it was a mess. So that was, we ended up scrapping all the stuff that we recorded from that. And by the time we figured out that it just wasn't salvageable, they had opened stuff up enough to have a limited audience in. So I think whatever, I can't even remember what the percentages were that you were allowed to have, like your percentage of your capacity you could have.
Was this
So
2020 or 2021? Like
this was
right in the heart of it?
2020.
Okay, so right in the heart of it,
It was just, I think, the
Mass
spring
and
of 2020.
everything. No. Wow.
So anyway, they were allowed to, because of the venues that they had, because one was an 800 something seater and it's adjoining their 400 seater, they were able to open the doors and technically have 350 people, I think, in there. And, and so we did that as a ticketed event. And that was interesting because everybody was set up, or like it was like a lounge format almost, because you had to have people in tables.
Right. And kind of split up a little bit and kind of partitioned off a little bit, like kind of distance, wherever that social 6 feet or 6 inches, whatever it was. Yeah, 6 feet.
So it was different for us because you didn't have anybody up on the rails, or at least you weren't supposed to. And so we ended up going on the news. I think, it was in the morning. We went on maybe 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. or what ungodly hour we were on the news. And the show was sold out by noon.
Wow.
So they're like, we need to add another show. And so we added another show. I think it was the following week, because I think we didn't want to do 2 back to back because we didn't know how it was going to go. So we added another date the following weekend, and that sold out in, I don't know, like a day.
Wow.
So we ended up doing 2 there, and then we ended up waiting a little bit, and then I think we tried to do another one at the smaller venue next door because they'd opened up more capacity by then or something.
Because people
If
still
memory
wanted to go to
serves, I think that's
shows.
what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. Because
Oh
people
yeah,
still
I
wanted to
mean,
go to shows. They were still like, a lot of people were, well, that can be a whole thing on its own, but some people didn't believe in it. Some people just didn't care. They wanted to go
oh
to a
yeah.
show. So if they have a chance and they can do it and they're allowed, they're going to go to a show. So you got the benefit of that for sure.
Right. Well, they didn't care. I mean, they were, all
They
these
just wanted
people
to
ended
come
up
and
leaving
see
their
something.
seats and
Yeah. Yeah.
going up on the rails, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the security were just
They just
like,
wanted to rock out and see a good
yeah.
show. Yeah.
By halfway through the set, it was that no one was following protocol.
Yeah, of
But
course.
hey, it was fun, and it was on
Yeah.
tape. It was pretty cool.
Everybody was okay. Everybody was safe. It was all right.
Yeah, yeah, it was a good time. So we got to do a lot of that, and then we took a break after that, and that's when we started doing the stuff at the Plaza at the Sandal at the Plaza. That's pretty much what we've been doing. But a whole bunch of shows at the Plaza. Oh, actually, I take that back. So um, that's what we did. So the first like live ticketed event to happen in Las Vegas happened at the adjoining venue, the 400 seater Backstage Bar and Billiards.
Okay.
So it's part of the same Fremont Country Club and Backstage
Yeah,
Bar and Billiards. So we did technically the first ticketed like real open event when everybody was coming back from the pandemic, because Live Nation venues were kind of sitting on the fence waiting to.
Yeah, for sure. They were taking their time.
This was
with
an
good
independent
reason.
venue, so it was like, screw it, we're going to do it. So we did
Right.
it, and that was wild. So we did that, and then a couple weeks later, our guys at Live Nation, because we're actually really good friends with all the booking agents for Live Nation out here, they asked us if we wanted to play the opening of House of Blues with Steel Panther, and so we're like, sure, we'll do that. So
Nice.
technically, I guess we reopened 2 venues out here, which was
Yeah,
pretty
that's
cool.
cool.
And
I
it was
didn't realize that you guys were the first ticketed event. Crash Midnight was
Yeah.
Breaker was crashing the doors, basically. You're crashing
Yeah.
down the pandemic and letting
Yeah.
people come back to real life, which now we're seeing in full swing. Obviously, a year and change since then, but that's cool. It's good to hear that you guys were one of the first ones that just broke down that door.
It was cool, and it made
Yeah.
us feel really good. That made us feel like we're, because we are transplants from Boston here. We started the band. We got like all of our big stuff started in Boston, but we really feel like this is home now. And getting stuff like that, getting the support that we get from the local radio station, Comp, all
Yeah.
that is just it really makes this home for us now. And it's cool that that's where they consider us. To see that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, to get offered to reopen the major venues and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. You guys are Las Vegas now. Crash Midnight is Vegas.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's the Las Vegas Rock and Roll Extravaganza. It's coming up on the 27th. People can check that out. I assume they can still get tickets, like we said. They can still show up at the door and buy tickets. So you go on at 8 o'clock. Doors open at 7. Go there, support it. I wish I could. I got to get my passport updated eventually. Hopefully, if you guys tour around the country at some point, if you guys have a tour coming up, I can get out there sometime and finally witness it in my face in person. But I think we just talked about it, but real quick, you don't, other than Vegas, though, do you have any other shows coming up around the country, or too soon?
No, really, honestly, we're trying to set up the residency stuff out here because it's much more cost effective for us, between gas prices and just everything going on with the economy. We can drive down the street and go sleep in our own beds and play in front of 1,000 people a night. I'll take that all day.
That's good to hear. Well, if you want to go check them out, go and see them.
You got to come to Vegas, but there's always a good excuse to come to Vegas. We're just one of them.
One last thing on Dee Snider too, because he's a part of this as well too. Do you have any history with Dee as well? This is gonna be the first time you're seeing him?
I met JJ French years ago at a friend of ours, Sally Steele's. I think it's a Metal Awards. I don't want to say the wrong awards. I think it was the Metal Awards or
Metal God Awards.
Like
is that
she
what
was doing?
Or
yeah, she was doing it out in Vegas.
Golden Gods, something.
I'm just terrible at remembering these things, but it was like
me too.
The Scorpions were getting an award. JJ French was there. We got to talk because he's friends with one of my other friends. It's actually doing a lot of the producing and stuff for this show that we're doing at the Hard Rock. So I got to meet them, but I never got to meet Dee. And I actually didn't know a ton about Twisted Sister. Like I know basic stuff about them, but it's cool learning a little bit more from behind the scenes for people that know them now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I encourage you, like I said, people check it out, and I can't wait to hear more music from you guys and play it on the station, play it on Paradise City. And when we have more time, we'll talk again because it's about to drop out. So before I lose you, I'll say goodbye to you, Shaun. It's good to have your conversation, and I look forward to having more.
We'll be back soon. Thank you for having me.
Awesome, buddy. Take care. Nice meeting you.
Take care.